Do you know why a woman never forgets certain men? It's not because he was the most handsome. It's not because he spent the most money. She can't forget him because of one single thing he said. Just one sentence. And it landed somewhere deep inside her. Today, I'm going to show you 8 of those sentences. 8 compliments that don't just sound good, they actually make her feel something real. But before we get into them, I need to tell you something important. Something that most men completely miss. And if you don't understand it, none of these compliments will work, no matter how perfectly you say them. I'll get to that in a few minutes. Stay with me. Now, before we start, I want you to know this. The last compliment on this list is the most powerful one. Most men never use it. Most men don't even know it exists. But when you do use it correctly, at the right moment, it creates a reaction she will carry with her for a long time. So stay until the end, because that's where everything comes together. Here's the truth that most men don't want to hear. The more you speak without intention, the less impact your words actually have. Most men believe that if they say enough positive things, if they compliment her enough, she will eventually feel attracted. But that's not how attraction works. When you walk up to a woman and say, "You look nice," or "You're beautiful," she might smile. She might say thank you, but she won't remember it. She won't think about it later that night. She won't feel anything deep because she has heard those exact words dozens of times before. Your compliment becomes background noise. It sounds like every other guy who ever tried to impress her. The real difference isn't what you say, it's whether what you say touches her. Attraction is not built on words that are heard. It's built on words that are felt. And the moment you understand that difference, the way you speak to people will change completely. Before we go further, I want to ask you something and I want you to answer in the comments. Think about the last time someone said something to you that actually stayed with you. Not a big speech, just one sentence that hit differently. What made it stick? Drop your answer below because I read every comment and I reply to as many as I can. Your answer might help someone else reading this too. Research in human behavior is very clear about this. When a person feels emotionally understood, they form a stronger connection to whoever made them feel that way. It's not about status. It's not about looks. It's about how she feels when she's around you. Does she feel seen? Does she feel like you notice things about her that other people walk past without a second glance? That's what creates impact. 2 men can be in the same conversation with the same woman. One of them says something and she forgets him the moment he walks away. The other says something and she's still thinking about it the next morning. The difference isn't confidence. The difference isn't looks. The difference is depth. One man stayed at the surface. The other touched something real. And this brings me to the one thing I promised to tell you. The thing that makes all of these compliments either work or fall completely flat. I'll explain it right after the first 4 compliments. Because once you see it in context, it will make much more sense. Most men notice a woman's perfume. Almost none of them say anything about it. That small silence is a missed opportunity. When you say something like, "That fragrance you're wearing, it's addictive, it stays with you," you're doing something very specific. You're showing that you pay attention to details that most people ignore completely. And attention is one of the most powerful forms of attraction that exists. When someone feels like you notice the small things about them, the interaction stops feeling generic. It starts feeling personal. There's also a deeper layer here. Scent is one of the most powerful triggers for memory and emotion in the human brain. Certain smells can pull up feelings and memories almost instantly. So when you acknowledge her fragrance, you're not just complimenting her. You're attaching yourself to that sensory experience. The next time she puts on that perfume, there's a real chance she thinks of you. That's how small moments become lasting impressions. The key is delivery. Say it calmly, naturally, like you mean it, not like you rehearsed it. That's what makes it land. Here's how most men compliment a smile. They say, "You have a nice smile," and then they move on. That's fine, but it doesn't create any real emotional reaction. What makes this compliment powerful is not noticing the smile itself. It's recognizing what the smile does. When you say, "Your smile changes the whole energy around you," you're no longer describing how she looks. You're describing the effect she has on everything around her. That's a completely different thing. You're not just observing her, you're experiencing her presence. And that shift from observation to experience is exactly what makes this feel different from anything else she's been told. Real quick, I want to know something. Between compliment 1 and compliment 2, which one do you think would hit harder in a real conversation? Drop the number in the comments. Number 1 or number 2. I'm going to go through the comments and tell you, based on your specific situation, which one would work better for you. I actually reply, so put your answer down there. This one goes deeper than anything appearance related. When you say something like, "I like how real you are," you don't try to fit into what everyone else is doing. You're acknowledging her identity, not her looks. You're recognizing the way she carries herself, the fact that she isn't constantly adjusting herself for other people's approval. In a world where social pressure, trends, and comparison make it genuinely difficult to just be yourself, someone who notices and appreciates authenticity stands out immediately. This kind of compliment does something appearance-based compliments can't. It removes pressure. It tells her, without saying it directly, that she doesn't need to perform or pretend in your presence. And when pressure is removed, she relaxes. She opens up, she becomes more herself, and that openness is what allows a real connection to grow naturally. She may hear compliments about how she looks every day, but hearing that someone respects who she actually is, that's rare, and rare things are remembered. This is where you separate yourself from almost every other man she interacts with. Most men respond to what a woman says. Very few actually engage with how she thinks. When you say, "I like the way you see things," it's different. You actually made me think. You're telling her that her mind has value. Not just her presence, not just her appearance, but the way she processes the world. When a woman feels like her thoughts are genuinely interesting to someone, she opens up more. She shares more. The conversation becomes something neither of you wants to end. That's not an accident. That's what happens when someone feels intellectually seen. And the key here is that this compliment has to come from something real in the conversation. You have to actually be listening. If you're not, she'll feel it, and it will have the opposite effect. Now I said I would tell you the one thing that determines whether all of this works or not. Here it is. A woman can feel the difference between a genuine observation and something said to get a reaction. She can feel it, even if she can't explain exactly why. So, if you take these compliments and repeat them like scripts, without actually meaning them, without actually observing her, they will fall flat every single time. The words aren't the power. The awareness behind the words is the power. When you genuinely pay attention to someone, the right words come naturally. And when they come naturally, they land in a completely different way. Some people walk into a room and nothing changes. Others walk in and everything shifts slightly. When you say, "I don't know how to explain it, but your energy, being around you just feels different," you're doing something most people never do. You're reflecting her presence back to her. You're telling her that you feel something in her company that you don't feel everywhere else. Energy is something people rarely see in themselves clearly, but they feel it constantly. When you put it into words for her, it creates a moment of recognition. She becomes more aware of how she's affecting you, and that awareness naturally deepens the connection between you. In a world where most interactions are fast, surface level, and self-focused, genuine thoughtfulness is rare and noticeable. When you say, "You're one of the most thoughtful people I've come across," you can see it in how you approach things. You're recognizing her character at a level most people never reach. You're not commenting on how she dresses or how she looks. You're acknowledging the effort she puts into how she treats people and how she moves through the world. That kind of recognition makes her feel understood, not just appreciated. And there is a significant difference between the two. Okay, I have to ask again. We're at 6 compliments now. Which one has felt the most natural to you so far? The one you could actually see yourself saying in a real conversation without it feeling forced? Put the number in the comments. I'll tell you how to make that specific one even more effective based on timing and delivery. Seriously, drop it below. There is a version of attraction that goes beyond the surface, and this compliment lives there. When you say, "I genuinely admire how focused you are on what you're building. The consistency you have is something I respect. You're doing something different from anything else on this list." You're not noticing her in the present moment. You're recognizing her direction, her ambition, her discipline, the fact that she has something she's working toward. That kind of recognition builds respect, and respect is one of the strongest foundations for deep and lasting attraction. It tells her you value who she's becoming, not just who she is right now. This is the one I've been building toward. This is what you came for. When you say, "You have this way of making people feel like they actually matter when they're around you, like they can just be themselves," you are pointing to something she may have felt her whole life but never heard put into words. You're recognizing her emotional intelligence, her ability to create safety for other people, the way she makes a room feel different just by being present and caring in it. Most people focus on themselves in social situations, but someone who consistently makes others feel heard, valued, and comfortable, that is genuinely rare. And when you name that quality out loud, it touches something deep, not because it flatters her, because it's true. And she knows it. She's just never heard someone else say it before. Here's what I want you to take from all of this. This was never about memorizing 8 lines. If you approach it that way, none of it will work. What this is really about is changing the way you think when you speak to someone. Most men focus on what to say next. The men who actually create an impression focus on what they're actually seeing and feeling in the moment. When you're genuinely paying attention to someone, the right words arrive on their own. You don't have to manufacture them. And when words come from a real place, they land in a completely different way. She might not remember the exact sentence you used, but she will remember how she felt when you said it. That feeling is what stays. That feeling is what makes you different from everyone else who tried to impress her with words that sounded right but felt empty. So say less, mean more. Pay attention, speak when it matters. Because when you do that, you don't just have conversations. You create moments, and moments are what people carry with them long after the conversation is over. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these 8 compliments do you think would create the strongest reaction in a real conversation? Drop your answer in the comments. Tell me the number and I'll tell you exactly how and when to use it based on your situation. I reply to comments personally, so don't just read this and move on. Say something below. If this changed how you think about attraction, share this with someone who needs to hear it. Most men go their whole lives without understanding any of this. And if you want to go even deeper, subscribe right now, because the next video is about something most men get completely wrong. It's not what to say, it's when to say it. Timing is where most men fail, even when they know exactly the right words. That's coming next. Don't miss